It began with a single glance that changed everything. At a quiet memorial for an acting teacher, surrounded by peers and memories, Christopher Meloni, the tough, steel-eyed star of Law and Order, Organized Crime, and one of People magazine's Sexiest Men Alive 2025, felt something unexpected. Across the room stood Kate Winslet, graceful, grounded, magnetic. And in that instant, the man known for his discipline and stoic characters found himself completely undone. I could not stop looking at her. He would later confess. She was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. But what made the story unforgettable was not his admiration, it was his decision to tell his wife. I should never have told her. Meloni laughed. She has never forgiven me, or rather, she has never let me forget. That honest, playful admission turned into something far larger than a passing comment. It revealed the fragile and funny truth about love, how even the strongest marriage can tremble for a heartbeat under the weight of honesty, and how laughter can turn that tremble into connection. It was not gossip. It was not scandal. It was real. A rare moment when a man admired by millions let the world see the simple, human truth behind the legend. That even after 3 decades of marriage, beauty can still surprise you. Honesty can still test you. And love, if it is true, can survive them both. Before that confession ever reached the headlines, Christopher Meloni had already lived a lifetime in front of the camera and an even greater story behind it. For more than 3 decades, audiences have known him as Detective Elliot Stabler from Law and Order. Organized crime. To many, he is the face of calm authority, a man who stares danger in the eye and never flinches. But behind that sharp gaze is someone far more grounded, humorous, and self-aware than his television persona. At 64 years old, Meloni has built a reputation not only for his talent, but for his humility. When People magazine named him one of the sexiest men alive for the year 2025, his reaction was not arrogance, it was laughter. He spoke not about his looks, but about what truly makes someone attractive. A sense of humor, being grounded, not taking yourself too seriously. He said, "Those are the things that draw me in. If I'm attracted to someone, there's always a kind of energy, a certain spark. That spark is what carried him through decades of success and into new projects." While the 5th season of Organized Crime airs on NBC this fall, Meloni is already filming a new drama created by Dan Fogelman, the same mind behind This Is Us, where he will play an NFL coach alongside Mandy Moore and William H. Macy, yet behind all the fame, the red carpets. And the spotlight stands something stronger. His 30-year marriage to artist Sherman Williams. Together, they have raised 2 children, Sophia and Dante, in a home built on honesty, humor, and unwavering loyalty. That is why the night he crossed paths with Kate Winslet mattered so much. It wasn't the encounter itself, it was what it revealed about the man behind the fame. Because even a Hollywood star can be caught off guard by genuine beauty. And sometimes, honesty can turn a fleeting moment into a lasting lesson. It happened in a heartbeat, that brief, electric instant when admiration crosses into something more noticeable. Christopher Meloni had spent his entire career portraying control detectives, soldiers, men who never let emotion show too deeply. But on that night, when he saw Kate Winslet across the room, the line between composure and wonder disappeared. He later described it with a mix of humor and disbelief. "I could not stop looking at her." He said, "I was making excuses just to look at Kate Winslet. She was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen." For most people, such a moment would fade quietly into memory. But Meloni's honesty would not let him hide it. When he returned home, still caught between guilt and amusement, he told his wife exactly what had happened. That was when the real conflict began, not a fight, but a ripple inside a marriage built on openness. Sherman Williams, his wife of 30 years, listened. Then came the silence. Then came the look Every husband knows that blend of disbelief, laughter, and warning. I should never have told her. Meloni later joked, "She has never forgiven me, or rather, she has never let me forget," to outsiders. It sounded like a harmless confession. To those who understand love, it was a perfect storm of emotion, pride, insecurity, honesty, and humor colliding at once. Meloni's decision to share his innocent admiration became a test of his own beliefs. Was total honesty always the right choice? Or could a truth, even one without guilt, carry more weight than silence? That question, simple yet deeply human, became the heart of the story. Because in every long marriage, there are moments like this. Tiny cracks of vulnerability that either break you apart or bind you closer. The defining moment came not on a set, not in front of cameras, but in the quiet space between husband and wife. Christopher Meloni had just confessed the truth that during the memorial event, he could not stop looking at Kate Winslet. For a moment, time seemed to slow. Sherman Williams stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then came a smile small, knowing and sharper than any line he had ever delivered on screen. "Really?" she asked. That single word carried every shade of humor, disbelief, and love that 3 decades of marriage can hold. It was a scene no scriptwriter could have improved. Meloni, the man known for intensity and authority, was suddenly the one standing defenseless. His honesty, once his greatest virtue, had turned into his most vulnerable moment. He laughed, because what else could he do? "I should never have told her," he would later admit. But that laughter carried more meaning than regret. It was a surrender, an acknowledgement that truth has consequences, even in love. From that day on, the story became a legend between them. Whenever someone mentioned Kate Winslet, Sherman would raise an eyebrow, and Meloni would grin. It became their private joke, their reminder that marriage is not about perfection, it is about surviving the imperfections with grace. Yet, in that exchange, something deeper took place. Meloni's confession, light as it seemed, exposed a truth rarely spoken aloud. Even the strongest bonds are built on moments of weakness shared without fear. That night did not divide them. It reminded them and the world that real love does not demand silence. It demands trust strong enough to survive honesty, laughter bold enough to turn discomfort into connection, and forgiveness gentle enough to last a lifetime. When the laughter faded and the story settled into memory, Christopher Meloni was left with something far more lasting than embarrassment understanding. He realized that the moment he confessed his admiration for Kate Winslet was not a mistake. It was a mirror, showing him what truly holds a marriage together after 30 years. Trust, humor, and the courage to be completely human, not being apart for too long. He once said, describing the secret to their love, "It used to be 3 weeks, that was the zone. But we learned to give each other freedom while still staying close." Those words carry the quiet wisdom of someone who has seen how easily distance, emotional or physical, can grow. Meloni and Sherman Williams built their marriage on that balance. Honesty, even the kind that stings, became their way of staying real. He never pretended to be perfect, and she never asked him to be. Instead, they turned every awkward truth into another story, another reason to laugh, another reminder that love grows stronger when it is not afraid to be tested. Their 2 children, Sophia and Dante, were raised in that same light where affection is spoken out loud, and "I love you" is said every single day. "My kids still tell me they love me." Meloni shared, and I always say it back. What began as a confession about a passing admiration became proof of something greater. Honesty did not break their bond, it deepened it. Humor did not cover the truth, it carried it. And love, the kind that survives decades, became the quiet hero of the story. In the end, Christopher Meloni's moment of weakness was not about Kate Winslet at all. It was about what it means to be real in a world built on image, to speak truth, to risk a laugh, and to choose love again every single day.